surgeon. Cosmic folks see emergence. Reign of eternal, hands on my time. Impossible prince can God watch you step in the mind. Soul triggers, power holy divine righteousness. Combined with courage, love of essence. Don't let trauma bind and block your blessings. When you behind the veil, you hear the confession. Give you limitation, corruption, fear, deception. This the age of knowing, evolution and resurrection.
Welcome back to another episode of Talk That Crap. What you hearing in the background is me and my new single coming up called Impossible Spit on a new project called I Am Here. And we're going to do it like that with a little bit of rhyme and a little bit of poetry. But today, we're going to have a phenomenal conversation today. I got some brothers with me today, and we still lacking one other guest. Today, we're going to have a great conversation. So, fellas, could you please introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are and how they can reach you?
Hello, everybody. I love being on this platform. My name is Jamal Shaquem Bey. A lot of people know me out there by Larry Jackson, which is the name that I go by from my mother and father. So I must honor them. But I stay right here in South Carolina, and I'm in Lexington, South Carolina at this time. But no matter where I'm at, I'm around good people because the Most High ordained that and make sure he put those kind of people around us. So these beautiful brothers you see in this platform right here, these are brothers that he is connecting us with, so we'll be able to bring you good advice and some advice, something to make you think, just to make you think, to open your eyes. That's what we are here for, to help our brothers and sisters to be able to see clearly and to see what's going on around them. So again, I just want to thank my brother Ralph and the rest of the brothers on the panel for having me here today.
I go by Rio. Yeah, you can find me pretty much on anything under Ink My Life, except for Instagram. Instagram is HOK Inc_Inc. But yeah, I'm just ready to talk about experiences, my own perception, and my own opinions.
What's good? What's good? What's good? It's your boy Donley Divine. I am here, and excuse me, I got my kids in the background, so they may be jumping in and out from time to time. Just so you know, as a family man, I deal with the family and I deal with community as well. So you might catch me out and about. But back on to what it is. Donley Divine, I have met Mr. Impossible in person, and I mean, with it, he became pretty much like a big brother to me. I'm over here trying to support the platform, and all together, we're gonna grow together.
All right. I appreciate that. I appreciate all you brothers giving up a little bit of your time, and we're going to be able to have some great conversations about tonight. So tonight, I just want to jump right into it. Indigenous man, remember. So when we're talking about the man remembering who he is, if we say black man remember, does that connect us to our indigenous culture? Or does the indigenous culture help us understand who the man is in spite of the tonality or ethnicity of the man? Anybody want to speak on that?
Yes, I want to speak on it. For one, I think where we get it twisted at when we call ourselves black man, we are melanated beings, non-ether. We are melanated folks. So when we start thinking about our ancestry and start thinking about our culture, we was always here in America. But they made it seem like we was brought from this place and that place and this place, but we was already here in these Americas. Only thing you have to do is travel a little bit and you'll start to find out. Go to Tennessee, go to Mississippi. You'll find out mounds in Chicago. So I think the more and more that we speak and start to communicate with each other and start to also travel, we was here. We was already here. It's a place in Florida they used to call it Fort Negro. Take a trip down. They name it a Spanish name now. And I'm going to tell you something. We fought for 2 years there trying to keep our land. So I think one of the misconceptions is a lot of us got this curse in our word to say black. We black.
Mm.
And we melanated folks. So I just want to offer that, just say a little bit of that, not trying to bring up no controversy, but just trying to set the record straight, because black
Hmm.
is a color, but we know how the black hole is beautiful. The black hole is power. And guess what? The black hole is faster than the speed of light. And I'm going to say that, let somebody else comment.
You're right about the black hole though. But yeah, yeah, he right. He hitting on some major points. Like a lot of us, if we do go back and we actually think about it ourselves instead of going by what we were taught to think, we were here a lot earlier. A lot of our ancestors, some of us may have come on on one slave ship, but for the majority of us, yeah, we were prisoners of war. And once you get out of that ideology that majority of blacks over here came from Africa, which that's not even the name of that continent.
That's right.
That was a name that was given to it.
Hmm.
So if you want to label yourself as an African American, as a melanated being in America, you're already misidentifying yourself because that continent isn't even called Africa. Africans just started calling it Africa. So
Hmm.
that misnomer there already offsets us and sets us back from knowing who we are. In order to get to where you're going, you have to know where you're from.
Woo. Hey, I love
Yes.
the fact that you even said that, due to the fact that what is it? Not Christopher Martin, the Winnie the Pooh. He says, I often get to where I'm going by leaving where I'm at. And I mean, and a lot of times individuals are so stagnant on staying where they are. I feel like there's a lot of people in America who don't even take the time to travel outside the country. So all they know is where they're at. And then with them being where they are and growing up, staying in the same little community, they are stuck with this mindset of what is taught to them. So therefore, they think that they are what is around them, when we are honestly so much more powerful than that. So, for example, if you grow up in the hood and you're always being called the N word, you're going to think that, oh, I'm just that. So now you're conducting
Mhm.
yourself in that manner. So now you're creating something that you really are not. And you wonder why a lot of people are having all these mental issues, because they're going against what they truly are, because they don't know who they are. And then, I mean, I think one of the biggest things is when you start to try and remember of what you are, to actually take the effort to go in and dig into books and learn the history and learn the real history, not just his story of what you are, but actually finding out what you are, where you came from. My gosh, bro. You mess around, have your head twisted around and think you're getting pulled 2 to 3 different ways just because of the fact that you like, man, you try and learn your ancestry, and then come to find out, I never was really a slave. If anything, slavery in America was never really slavery. That was prisoners of war.
Yep,
Hmm.
Correct.
that's
Hmm.
Correct.
exactly what that was.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's so imperative that we actually teach history to our youth so they really understand who they are from a young aspect of life. From
Mm-hmm.
being like, hey, you came from this land, you were born on this land, and teaching them the history and the mythos. And that's something that we get away from, is really understand what that really means to us in life as being an indigenous man. Like, it connects you to an heritage, a culture. It connects you to an understanding about spirituality and self. It places you here in a particular moment in time where people have forgotten. It connects you to something. So could y'all talk to me about, as black men, being reconnecting with your heritage and with your understanding, and looking upon us as in the world, how our youth, how we as black men and black women look at the black man, quote unquote, the indigenous man. When you look at the world and everybody is so um pro black but no self worth. How does that, how do y'all understand that?
Well, one of the things I remember as a young child, when I grew up in the neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York, I had all these older men around me. And some of
Mm,
the wisdom needs to give, I was willing as a young child to listen to the stories, to listen to the sayings, and to understand that these people had so much to give us. Our people had so much to give us if we would just take the time out and listen, as far as the wisdom, understanding. And so that's what done happened in this time that we live in, because it's hard to reach our young brothers and sisters today, because they are so caught up and their eyes are still closed. And when you try to give them a little wisdom, they don't want that. They want to tell you how life is done now, and this is the way you need to follow. So that's one of the problems, because they actually some of our people don't lost the way, but I feel it's people like us that need to still try to reach our young people by the love that we have within us, by being able to deal with them in such a way that that love is so strong. Because everywhere I walk, no matter if I'm on Broad River Road or where, what's going on, Unc? How you doing, Mr. Larry? Peace, Jamal. Because the way I stand and the way I walk, and I'm still, it's very hard now. I'm not gonna say it's not hard, but it's very hard sometimes to stay in my character and my persona, to let them know that I'm not against you. I'm with you. And any way I can help with wisdom, with knowledge, with understanding, or just sitting down with the young person and building. Sometimes that makes them say, "Whoa!" I gave a young man that played basketball a video the other day. I directed him to a video of Skip to My Lou and a couple other basketball players. And by doing that, what was going on, that I knew about this stuff and how he needed to train and practice. That's just a little start. But it was just that he could look at me now and say, I didn't know he knew about that. So I think we have to have courage to be able to reach our young people by communicating with them, and even sometimes showing them something that they into right now. Well, let me show you
mm,
what some of these past guards did. I said, go to Netflix and look at the guards of New York. And then when he did that, he was like, thank you, Mr. Larry. I never knew about all of that. I say, well, see, that's how we start, by communicating and with our young
yeah,
people, to try to help them to be able to trust us.
yeah.
Well, me personally, I feel like it's all conditioning. Like
Mm,
we've been conditioned to think a certain way as a people. And I'm not even gonna say as a people anymore. I'm gonna say as a country, because shit, most of our free will is taken away if you don't agree with the masses. So we have to change the way that we think. Well, shit, Tupac said it the best. We have to change the way we think. We have to change the way we speak, and we have to change the way that we treat each other. You know, it's a lot of young folks out here that don't have respect for their elders, and vice versa. It's a lot of elders out
yeah.
here that show no respect to the young folks. A lot of people forgetting respect is a give and take type of thing. You got to give respect to get it.
True,
Like
true.
on either level. Like, yeah, I'm gonna respect you because you're my elder, but if you're constantly spewing negativity and hate, I have no choice but to disrespect you as a man. So
Mm,
I feel like as a community, we need just that, more community. We need more respect for one another. We need to put accountability upon each other. We need to start telling each other, like, hey, gang banging ain't the way. And it need to be those people that are in that lifestyle that are telling the generation that's coming up under them, like, yo, this ain't what you want to do. I'm only doing this because I thought this shit was cool, and now I'm too far in. And that's
mm,
how you stop the conditioning. Like they can see it on the TVs and all of this and all of that, but if what they're seeing in their everyday life contradicts what's going on that TV, it changes the mindset. It changes the person. It changes their outlook on their own community. Hell, it changes the outlook on the community to other communities. Because eventually people are gonna be like, well, damn, they're painted this way in the media, but every time I'm around one of them, it's a completely different story. Like,
Hmm.
we have to be the ones to change our own narratives. We can't look outward at anyone else and be like, oh, y'all should help us do this or y'all should help us do that. No, we have to help ourselves before we
I
can even
self-law
look at
master.
anybody else. Like,
Hmm.
Correct. I self-law
and
master.
it, yeah, and it's too many people out here that are living a lifestyle that is contradictory to the person that they actually are. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people, like he said, you have to walk around and be this character or this persona instead of your natural self. Like, why,
Mm.
have anybody ever thought about that? Like, why do I have to portray a character instead of, it being okay for me to be my natural self?
Come on.
Facts on facts. There's a lot of individuals like now we live in a time to where they talk like, "Hey, I'm a real nigga." Like, okay, cool. What is a real nigga? And then they
Yeah.
talk about all these things that I'm like, okay. I had a conversation one time with this individual. I was helping my sister drive across country, and uh, a dispute ended up happening with this man and two other men sitting here at this restaurant. There was a bar that was like right across from us. Still in the restaurant, they were at the bar, and then one of the dudes was like, he got upset about something. He's like, "Well, come outside." The other guy was like, he was still talking. The guy was like, "Come outside." Both of them, two of the guys that he was arguing with, got up and started walking outside. The dudes like got up, and I was just like, someone told me to go over there, so I went over there. I have a background in security and things like that. I've been doing it for a very long time. I'm not going to disclose all the things that I do, but I've been with some people who are in high places. Now, with that, I walked over to him and I was like, "Hey," so I went. I was like, "What you drinking?" He was like, "Oh, da da da." I got him a drink. I knew that was going to have it to where now you got to sit down and drink that drink, so that would delay a little bit more time. Plus, if we drinking, when you drink with somebody, you're gonna share a little. You're gonna talk to him. So with that, took that opportunity to talk to him. I was like, "Hey, bro, think about this." He was like, "What?" I was like, I was saw a video with Kevin Gates. He was like, "Why am I gonna sit here?" And he was like, "People want to be out here and act like clowns in a circus. Why am I gonna sit there and act like a clown with them?" He's like, "Nah, I'm not gonna join the circus and be a fool with them." So I was just like, boom, I told him
Mm.
that. And I was like, think about it. You don't know what these dudes are doing in the parking lot. You mess around, walk outside and get killed. He was like, nah. He's like, I ain't no punk bitch. I'm a real nigga. I was like, well, what is a real nigga? I was like, is a real nigga someone who goes outside and gets killed? Is a real nigga that's someone who decides to take another life or do something stupid and end up in jail? I was like, is that your idea of a real nigga? I'm sorry. In my eyes, a real nigga is someone that will actually sit there, educate the youth, will sit there and be an example for those around them. I was like, so if you even want to use that word nigga, which actually stands for ignorant, I don't understand how real and ignorant is even going to come together in a positive way. Like, if anything, why don't you go ahead and be a real? I was like, why don't you go ahead and be a real man? I was like, lead by example and do the right thing. Because as of right now, we might end up having your face up on a T-shirt, and now you thinking here, your family's like, oh my God, we lost him, but you in hell talking about I was a real nigga though. Like seriously, what do you accomplish right there? You was real ignorant. You right. I mean, when it
Right.
comes down to it, indigenous man, remember, know the power that we
Facts.
things are not, we have been looked at as these violent individuals. Every time people think of us, they think that we're gonna rob them, you're gonna clench your purse, or something's gonna happen, you're gonna get shot at. We are now known for a lot of times for gang activity in America. I'm like, when it comes down to it, why is it? I was talking with someone, and a matter of fact, I think it was I want to say Mr. Sigma Uno who sent the video. It might have been Mr. Impossible, but it was talking about how a gentleman was sitting there and he was talking to, I believe it was Korean mafia lord, and the dude ended up saying he was like black people, he's like y'all create everything, y'all. He was like everybody wants to imitate y'all. He's like, but the issue I have with y'all is y'all can do all these things, but y'all can't even organize crime together. And then that had the man,
Yep.
the black man
Yep.
stop and was
Hmm.
like, well, damn. It comes to our
Yep.
when it comes to our culture, which is a culture that was created for us by the white people to hold us down, which then the culture vultures, that's what I call them, came and stole that, and now it's actually doing what they wanted it to do for us, doing to them. Now it's incarcerating them and everything. I'm like, and then with it, we make the hairstyles. People trying to take that over, doing cornrows, trying to call it something else. Our do rags, wave caps, everything, trying to call it something else. Our music, they trying to take over that and trying to make it seem like it's something that's real cool. Our dances, everything that we do. But yet, when it comes
Hmm.
down to it, how is it we can be an example and create all these great things, but we're always talked about as if we are negative individuals? Plus, at the same time, why is it that everybody else can come together as a community except for us? How is it that everything else that everybody else does comes from us, but we can't do it for our own people? So when it comes down to it,
Mm.
Indigenous man, remember that you are everything. You are everything
Yeah.
that everybody strives to be. You are
Yeah.
everything that they want to be and try and hold you down because they know that you can do it better. So the only way that they'll get any type of validation is by making sure that you don't do it. So black man, Indigenous man, remember, you come from here. We were the first and we will be the last. Ain't nobody gonna kill us off. As soon as you decide to go within and realize who you are, my God. You know how the reason why they decided to try and take R&B away from us? Because they know that our
Fact,
superpower is love. When we come
fact.
together
Hmm.
with love, we accomplish everything. That's why they try and make it to where we are
Yeah.
constantly fighting each other and killing each other off. So that way they don't have to do it.
Hmm.
Fact.
Together, we taking over
Facts.
everything. And that right there is
Facts.
Hmm.
Indigenous man.
I'm so glad you
Hmm.
Fact.
said that
Hmm.
Fact.
because you
I,
could
I
That's
tell
a
the
definitely
hand
agree with
clap,
difference
that.
of the
brother.
movements and the music.
Hand clap.
Like back in the
Hmm.
days when the music was good, when the music made you feel good about yourself, you know, you could be going through a bad situation and throw on the old school song. Now you in a completely different mindset. But you throw on one of these new songs and you in a bad mood, you're more
You
than
ready to go
likely
to
to go
war?
flat.
Frequency.
Yeah, you ready to crash out. Now you ready to go do something real stupid. Like all of those vibrations need to be changed.
Yeah.
And we are the ones that have to change it. If we don't change it, nobody else will because they love putting us against each other.
Hmm. Agree. Agree.
But
Agree.
you
I
just
mean, it's the. Go ahead.
now I was about to say he's absolutely correct. And so we got to hold ourselves accountable, ourselves first. And what we do with the people that we love and want to be around. I was talking to my brother earlier about that, and I said I had to be the one that said, you know what, I'm the eldest, I'm the father. Let me go back and say to any of my people that I could have said something wrong to them or said something that was totally inappropriate. So now let me be a man enough to go to them and say, you know what? I apologize for my actions. See, what's being ruled in the world also is this envious, jealousy, and pride. So we got to get
Mm.
past that. That's one of the things we got to get past that and be
Agree.
have humility and be able to do the way the Most High want us to do, to bring them together. So that takes us to be humble. And I don't care how old we get, we still have to be able to relate to our young people and but lead by example. The brother said it best. He said we have to lead by example, and we must be able to hold ourselves accountable because the way you teach the younger people by because they watching. They
Hmm.
always been watching.
Yeah.
I was like that when I
Yeah.
was small. Watch. I watched
Hmm.
the way people act. That's why I learned from a lot of the elders because I used to watch and listen before I opened my mouth. Of course, we're in a new era now, but I still believe our people, young people, still have the power to watch and listen and watch your moves. So, at elder statement, that's what we have to do. Sometimes we have
Yeah.
to put that pride away and that ego away and be like, you know what? Let me live like the Most High want me to live, to educate and to teach my younger generations, my grandkids. You know what I'm saying? Other people, kids. When I see them doing something wrong, let me say something in a nice way to encourage them. Nah, you could do better than that. So I think it's actually start with people like us getting together and being able to have platforms like this to say these things and let people listen and be like, man, I love those brothers right there because they keeping it real. They coming at us 1,000 and they keeping it so real that they have no other choice but to respect because they see the love coming from us. And this is something that we all taking a time out of our day, no matter what we got going on, to come on a platform and to communicate.
Hmm.
That's showing love in itself.
Check.
So thanks again, my brothers.
Man, it's always an honor, to the indigenous man. We have to truly remember, where we came from. Like we are not just here upon this plane called Earth. We are cosmic being as well. We are divine essence. We are divine love. We are divine frequency. We are everything that they monetize. You're that. You're the AI. You are
Yeah.
indigenous, man. You're everything that they want to be. You're everything that they thrive to be. You're everything that they hope to be. Be careful of the lessons and the lifestyle that you live, and you just say you decided your own. And I ask this question, and remember this, indigenous man: the choices that you make, who taught you or gave you the boundaries to your decisions? I'm gonna ask the question one more time to my indigenous man: the choices that you make, who gave you the definition and the decisions to what you're getting ready to do? So
Mm.
remember, without knowing who we are, without knowing who we are, you can make a decision from your mind that affects the choices, your actions on an everyday basis. See, this is God to God. See, indigenous man,
Mm.
they forgot to tell you that you God. They forgot to tell
Woo.
you, hey, boo, mwah. That's my grandbaby just came in and tell me she home from school. Thank you. She came in and tell me she home from school.
Now
but
that's awesome. I need to take a
yeah,
picture of that one. That was awesome.
yeah.
There.
And
That was good.
indigenous man, don't forget. You God. The for every religion that's on the planet, they're still defining essence of God, which is you, black man, black woman. So to my indigenous man, remember actually who you are, and don't be afraid of who you are. Don't be afraid. It's okay to be different. It's okay to have a big nose. It's okay.
You so
It's all
stupid,
right to
bro.
be different. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Hey,
I'm just
look,
saying.
man, I looked
Bring
at
us
my
back.
nose the other day and I was like, damn, my shit is kind of big.
Mine's
But
too.
I was like, you know what?
Do
That's
the
all
Humpty
right.
Lump.
That's all right.
Watch me do the Humpty Dump. Oh, dude,
Hey, listen.
Boy,
I don't let them. I don't let them fake me, man. I don't let them tell me who I ain't, man. You know what I'm
for
saying?
real. I don't let
Let them
it
tell
shake
me
me
who I
though.
ain't. Hell yeah, hell yeah.
I
So,
like that. I can breathe too, babe.
ah. So, is there anything that y'all would say that you want to share with the indigenous man? Because we all understood our perspective as indigenous man upon this land, of what we see, and we see the problems. What would we say, or what message would we give to the indigenous man, and how could we become better and take more responsibility for who we are, take and have and live by the principles and the code of the land and nature? Could y'all talk about that? Oh, my big brother in the building, let him go first. Yeah.
Oh, what's up?
Peace.
Can you
Don't.
hear us?
Oh, this guy. This
Oh
I
guy.
know he
man,
got
Oh
a $1 million
man, his
smile. I
he
internet
know
is.
better
that.
He
not be
is.
on
This
that today.
this guy.
Come on, come on, come on.
They
We can't hear you.
this this guy.
I hear. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, booyah.
Yes.
Here we go. Yeah, here we go.
Okay, you're breaking up, Impossible. I can barely hear what you're saying. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh man, I hear
Can
every other
everybody else
word.
hear?
And
Yeah, I can
Can't
Yeah.
hear
hear
you.
him.
Do I sound choppy?
No, you sound clear.
yeah, you're
You sound
choppy.
clear on
Okay,
my end.
okay,
You're
okay.
choppy for me.
So make so
Oh,
what
hold on a
is
second.
maybe your connection?
Every time,
Because
man.
can
Every
everybody
time it's
else?
a problem.
Hey, it's
Hold on
okay.
a
We're
second.
gonna cook. We're gonna cook. We're gonna cook. You can
Yeah,
come back and
yeah,
sit at the
yeah,
table.
yeah.
You good. You
Mm-hmm.
good.
Oh, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely,
you're
definitely. We're
breaking
gonna
up.
keep this
You're
thing live.
breaking up. I can't even hear you. Hold 1 second.
Oh man,
Let me go out. Let me
go out
go
and
out
come
and
back
come
in.
back
Go
in.
out and
Hold
come
Yeah,
on.
back
try to
in.
go out and come
Cause I,
in.
Yeah, go out, come back
cause I
in.
definitely,
That's the first
I
step
would
of
love to
troubleshooting.
hear. Yeah, I would love to hear his perspective on indigenous man. Remember,
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
Oh yeah.
I
you
definitely
know
would
it's
love to
about
Definitely.
to
hear
get
that.
deep. Yo, when
Yeah,
cigarette
What?
yeah.
walk in the building, it's about to get real. It's about to get
Hey,
Oh,
real.
yeah.
my
Oh,
other
yeah.
brother with me.
I will say this though. When it comes down to the indigenous man, I've realized I'm like there's a lot of individuals who don't know
Panel.
who they are or where they come from. And with that, it makes it a lot easier for them to live how do I say this? Because I don't want to offend nobody. You know, fuck it. It's easier for them to live a persona. They will create something that they want to be because they don't know who they are. And with that, that's how you have a lot of individuals running around with so many mental issues, fighting all these demons because there's all these things trying to come into them because they don't have what's the word? They don't have a foundation to stand on. If you don't
Yeah,
believe in anything,
exactly.
you'll fall for anything, you know? So if you don't believe in something, you'll fall for anything. And with that, they don't even believe in themselves, which allows them to open themselves up to anything to come and attack them. And I mean, that's how you have a lot of people who are stuck in poverty because they think that that's all they know. There's no way that they can get out of that. There's individuals who think that they're stuck in gang life because that's all they know. They don't think that they can get out of that or do anything better. They have generations of these things and they feel that's all that we are. I'm like, once they realize like I am more than this, I am better than this, then they can actually put their foot forward and start going and taking those steps to do something better than what they're currently doing. So I mean, it's the fact that we are the main ones, melanated individuals. We are the main ones to where our history, culture, and everything about us has been erased. So now it's like we have to take for what everybody else does. When they take one step forward, they're there. For in order for us to reach the same point as everybody else, we have to take like 5 steps forward while we have like 7 other people trying to push us back. And I think that's one of the things. The resistance ultimately also makes us stronger. Because in order to actually become perfect, you have to go through a lot of stress and trials and tribulations to actually reach a point to where you can be like, you know what? I have mastered this. It's the same thing with martial artists. And me and Rio were talking about it earlier. It's the same thing with martial artists. You have to start at the basics and then you start learning more and more and more. But at the same time, you have to go through those hardships of constantly hurting yourself, being in those actual battles to gain that knowledge, that wisdom, that mental IQ, that fighting IQ to be able to do certain things. Like, for example, I can tell when somebody's about to swing at me and it's like my body will naturally automatically move. Like, for example, anybody who's familiar with Dragon Ball Z Super right now, Ultra Instinct, that is real. You reach a point to where it's like you move before you even think about it. Your reaction comes first. And I mean, with us, we go through the hardest things, which makes us so resilient, which is the reason why everything that they do trying to break us down, we keep coming back stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger.
Man, we like day kids.
we keep coming back. We keep coming back. We keep coming back. You know what I mean? We keep coming back. Nah. Because how can you? What could you hold down to all that there is? What is your fight against? There's a reason why they have to just go here. If you have to systematically destroy the family, the educational center, the community, the spiritual connection, the culture, if you got to do all of that, destroy it, the entertainment, the information, if you just have to do that, that's crazy. That's crazy. So we're going to get into our next episode. It's called Silent Emotional Wars. Now, as indigenous men, we are silent about what it is that we really feel. So a lot of times we don't have either the intelligence, the emotional intelligence, or the knowledge of how to express ourselves. Because y'all talk about the silent emotional wars that indigenous men go through.
Is our brother back yet?
He ain't back. We're going to keep it moving. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. We're going to do.
Well, one of the things I think the way we grew up, you know, back in the day, our grandfathers and great grandfathers, boy, if they saw you cry, they talk about men don't cry. Well, guess what? I love my people, but I had to learn to cry, brother. I had to learn to get those emotions out because at one time I kept all those emotions in, and I was a dangerous person holding on to those emotions. So I needed an outlet of people that I could communicate with so I could let those emotions out. because we got two sides. We got a higher selves and a lower selves. And then,
Yes.
you know what? It's easy. If you can keep it balanced, that's beautiful. But at times, people forget we still living in this vessel, our
Mhm.
spirit, our souls. So we still living in this vessel, which is not the original us. Because you could tell by our makeup where we truly come from. And the brother touched on it earlier when we was, having a conversation about this, about being 3/5 of a man or whatever the case may be. But some of them fallen people, they talking about them fallen angels. Some of them was us. Some of them was us. And then if we do look at history, we at one time, of course, we ruled the entire earth. But what happened? Before those people even had any kind of power, it was us turning on each other
Yeah.
because we had got so wise and so intelligent. Then we started looking our nose upon some of our weaker brothers and sisters instead of trying to bring them up with us and help them be able to captivate this energy and this power that we have, because we all have it. But we started looking upon them like, nah. And again, it goes back to our emotions, because a lot of us that was very proud, had a lot of gold and land and power. We started looking down on our people, and we didn't even take we didn't take no accountability, because we felt like we was higher than that person, or higher than that person that was dealing with a certain situation. So we in thoughts. We also we knew who we were back then. We knew what we were, but we got also big headed with knowledge and understanding, and we started looking our nose on our own people. If you just think about it, Shaka Zulu and that whole nation, they was a warrior people. But then you go further up to Northern Africa, a lot of them was into science, into the
More.
stars,
Mhm.
into all these things. So you think about the warrior nations. Look, we'll conquer the rest of them to let them know this is what it is. So a lot of times they want to blame everything on the Europeans, but we also slept because we taught them how to clean themselves in the Black Ages. We taught them how to vegetate, to grow food and everything. But again, it goes back to self. So emotionally, we have to overcome right now of this pride, ego, jealousies, and that's going to be a job for the nation at this time. Even though the atmosphere and everything and the frequencies are changing, but some people don't like change.
Mm.
Some people want to stay exactly where they are. If you think about the Matrix, what did the guy say? Look, I know
Read.
all of this is fake. I know all of this is fake, but I want me a good steak and a good wine.
Mhm. Check.
So he knew it
Exactly.
was fake,
Exactly.
but he still wanted that fakeness because that what brought him joy. So we got
Mm-hmm.
to get back to, man. Look, I'm sitting here in front of grass right now and trees, right? And I
Mhm.
feel ecstatic. See,
Mm.
I
Mhm.
don't care about having a Mercedes Benz in the yard. See, but I done got to the age now that I feel that just having life and waking up every morning and having another opportunity to help another brother, sister, family member to open their eyes and see that it's more precious thing than material things. It's not about material things.
Mhm.
It's
Check.
about us having this energy of this love that we have within us, and to be able to share that love with another fellow man, woman, and help them build their families and do the same thing. So
Mhm.
emotions is very important, because if you don't learn how to expel those emotions or meditate and pray, man, we in a world of trouble, brother, because that's what we got to get back to,
Mm.
being able to meditate, pray, and being able to communicate with each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
For the most part, it's and I agree with you 100%. For the most part, for the battle, I think for us as men, it's silence is a build up to like you're saying, a build up an implosion. The sad part is when we talk to each other harsh because we feel like we have something to prove to each other, and that's not the case. All this derives
Right.
from us becoming us being going from being the person in control to being the slave. When you're a slave, you're taught by whoever is in control of you. And
Mhm.
over the last 400 plus, let's say, I'll say 600 years, because there's in the mind of some people it's still happening. See what I'm saying? So they taught us something specific. They taught us that specific. They knew we could retain information. So because we couldn't read fully, all of us could read at the time. Everything that they taught us was ingrained in us, and we were carrying that same torch from generation to generation. And where the whole tactic of fear is being induced, and we don't even know it. It's like I feel like I'm free, but I'm still afraid of something, or I'm missing something. And we had a conversation about the avatar, and briefly about the avatar, and how and what the function of the avatar is. The avatar is the body. The seat of the mind is the seat of the mind is controlling the avatar. Then you have the angel, and you have the demon. Like you're saying, there's a good side of us and there's a bad side of us. We have so much power over our body, but we don't know how to use it. You see what I'm saying?
Ooh,
We're
Mhm.
ooh.
here. We're caught in the emotions of life and don't even know how to operate the avatar at all. Period. This is a miraculous
Mhm.
thing that we're standing in, and we believe that we're attached to it, and this is what it is, but it's not. We're not attached to it. We're only operating it. I know
Woo!
you guys have seen the movie The Avatar, where the guy they take his subconscious and they put it inside of this avatar, and he's acting as if he's able to walk. He can't walk in real life, but he's walking in this avatar. That means the power. He's not powered by his body. He's powered by the mind,
Mhm.
clearly by
That's
the
it.
mind. So when we get to this place to where we realize what's at the seat of us, and we call it
Mm.
what we call ourselves what it is. We call ourselves God,
Mhm.
because He said we were,
Come on.
right. And that's the crown chakra. So here we are on the crown. This is where everything. This is where all the information is. This is where we move from. And then we
Mhm.
have the advisor on the left, the advisor on the right. That's an atom, right? So
Mm.
positive, negative, and neutral. That's what we're dealing with. We're our seat is the neutral party. Our positive and negative are there as counsel. The
Mm.
body has nothing to do with how you operate. It's how you think. So
That's it.
when we talk about emotions, we're only talking about what we're feeling based on our thought that we're stuck in this body and we can't do anything else. We're 20
Mm.
times more powerful than what we actually believe that we are, because we're only living based on emotion. If we could get to this place, and we talked about this before, if like you were talking about your incubator, if we can get to the place with these young people to where they realize, hey, this is the seat of my power right here. This has nothing to do with my
Mhm.
body, but I enjoy the avatar, so I'm going to make sure it's well enough for me to operate from it. And
Mhm.
that's how we should think. It's not it's easily said, but it's hard to do because we've been programmed with other things. We've been programmed away from our ability to program ourselves. So we're there. In addition to the things that they've taught us, there are subliminal messages. This is what you eat. This is what you should drink. This is where you
Yep.
should go. We have no time to sit back and think for ourselves. So we're only moving based on what they're saying we should do. Now I'm going to go to the store and get this. When I'm going to go to the store and get this bag. Oh, I'm going to go to the store and get this. Now I need money. I need more money. Now I need more money. Now I'm going to go rob somebody. All of this is based on what they're feeding into it. So you can't tell me that the places that we live and that are heightened with dysfunction is based on the thought of the people there. No, they're conditioned and they're programmed to be who they are. And that's the sad part, because when they do wake up and realize, oh man, what have I been doing all this time? And then we talked about cortisol. Remember, cortisol is what puts us in the fight or flight. So we're stuck in this fight or flight, and we're doing this because somebody
Mhm.
tried to kill me, somebody tried to hurt me. I had a traumatic experience. I got to eat. I got to feed my family. So I got to do what I got to do. in fight or flight. None of that is a genuine thought. None of that is an original thought. None of that calms you down. None of that gives you peace at all. You don't really sleep. When you sleep, that's when the avatar repairs itself. When you sleep, that's when you determine what's going to happen within the next day. That's when you talk to your advisors. All of this happens, and it happens that way, but we don't allow it because of all the other things that have been dropped in our psyche. The other things that have been dropped on us to make us believe that we have the right, or we have the right to make these choices, but it's not a right. It's not a freedom. You live in a place to where they pummel you with the things that they want you to believe, so you can continue to make their economy work. We need to pull out of this, and when we pull out of it, it's hard because it's a reset. There was a movie, I can't remember. I can't remember the name of it, but they were in a van, and they would pick people up and throw them in the van and take them to reprogram them. I can't remember the name of the movie. It was kind of comical, but at the end of the day, it's something that needs to be done. The hard part is when you've done this too so long, when you've been in cortisol for so long, it becomes who you are, and you can't think anywhere above that. It's always fight or flight. It's always somebody's coming to get me, so I got to get them first. That's the very first thought. Gangbangers, murderers, all these people have this in their psyche because someone planted it there. You see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, and I don't want to monopolize, I know everybody has something to say, but this all begins with love. It begins with love and feeling a need. If we can embrace them with love and feel a need, then we have their attention. If we do that for long enough, then we'll have their full attention. And then if we get to the place to where they're actually thinking and recognize who you are, then we can move mountains. You see what I'm saying? But it's going to have to take an embrace, and it's going to have to take, hey, what do you need? Okay, let's talk about feeling the need. And when that happens, we have their attention. And it can't. The thing about people is you have to keep their attention. If you don't keep their attention, they're going to fall right back to the same situation that they were in before we had a conversation with them, or we begin to do the work. You see what I'm saying? So again, what I'm saying is it's not easy. I know. But at the same time, understanding where we are, where we can be, is important, because again, this is a seat. These are my advisors. In order for me to live, these have to be there. If you remove anything from an atom, what happens? It no longer exists as a living being. You remove negative, it's gone. So that's why I don't agree with some things. That's why I don't agree with religion, because religion plays on your emotions, but it plays on your emotions negatively. It makes you look at all your flaws and makes you feel like, oh, I'm not worthy. I'm not doing enough. God, I need to take this evil out of me. No, if you take it out, you're gonna die.
Yes.
You're gonna die.
Oh, I say next person gonna die.
Facts.
But that's the way. That's the breakdown. For me, that's the breakdown. From what I understand, what I know, that's the breakdown.
Cool.
Well spoken, brother.
Thank you.
That was well spoken.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to elaborate on solid emotional war?
Oh, I can elaborate on that,
Mm-hmm.
especially as a black guy. Well, like he said, a lot of us, when we're younger, in our adolescent stage, as a young man, we're told that, you can't cry, can't do this, don't do that. That ain't what boys do. So, as a man, you grow up with this certain persona of what a man is supposed to be, not knowing that when you get older, they're going to tell you only the strongest man cries. So to have grown your whole life feeling and thinking a certain way, to once you get older, you're like, hold on, it's supposed to go this way. It kind of gives you a false sense of what you're really supposed to be and how you're really supposed to feel about things.
Right.
Like, for some people, if you like me, it makes you numb to a lot of shit you see.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because you really don't even know how to react to that.
Hmm.
Like, you know how long it took me to actually notice, like, if somebody truly really loved me? Like, you know how
Mm-hmm.
long it actually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Damn, bro.
He went mute. Oh
Mm.
no.
No,
Sorry.
did he?
A lot of people, yeah,
Oh,
I made a mistake about it. A lot of people will think it's the lifetime love, like it's that real cute thing that you see that people get together, they stay
Mm.
together. No, that is not
Mm-mm.
what real love is. I'm sorry to tell you, real love is fucking ugly. It is
Mm-hmm.
ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's ugly.
Mm-hmm.
It's dangerous. It's arguments. It's fights. It's disagreements. It looks very what the people call it nowadays. It looks real toxic if you don't know
Right.
how to actually identify it. The fact
Right.
that these people are
Mm-hmm.
still arguing with each other, trying to get their points across with one another, and
Mm.
disastrous as it may seem, it's still a form of communication. So
Yeah.
many people will be like, "Oh, I love this person." One day, that person do the wrong thing, and boom, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
You have
mm-mm.
no emotional intelligence. You've
Mm-mm.
never been, you haven't been trained to say, yeah, love is that four-letter word that everybody wants to hear, but nobody really wants to hear what that four-letter word is about.
Mm-hmm.
Check.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's nice to be in lust, because that little puppy love shit, that's lust.
Wow.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No lie, it's lust when you actually think about it. Because what happened?
Yep.
If it was actual love, they wouldn't call it the honeymoon phase.
No,
What
Mm.
do
they're
women
not.
Mm-hmm.
do? Lust over a marriage. What do men do? Lust over the
Left over the
honeymoon.
body.
Mm-hmm.
So, with all that being said, like a lot of us need to relearn how to love one another because we don't fully understand the grasp the concept of love. We only see what we've been that's been put in our face through Disney Channel, Lifetime,
Right.
even
Right.
BET. But what
Mm-hmm.
I will
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
BET for the most part puts it in our face really what love is, but they put that as the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, y'all
Yeah.
are arguing so much. Y'all are doing this. Y'all are doing that. The fact that these people haven't even left each other alone, but they still argue every day, like off of Tyler Perry movie, Marcus
Mm-hmm.
and dang, what was his wife's name? The
Gina.
two that's always arguing.
Jim
I think
Scott.
Tasha, something like that. No, it was
Yeah, I,
Tasha,
I
I think.
forgot. Yeah, Tasha.
Yeah.
Those two right there are the real personification of what real love is. He done
Mm.
fucked around on her. She done fucked around on him. They done both did some fucked up shit together, but they will not leave each other alone.
Yes.
I
Because
have a
there's something
question,
And
my
about
brother. I have a question.
yeah,
One of my questions is, all right, let's take our mothers for instance.
mm,
yeah,
That was the first love that I ever came to know was my mother. The
yeah.
exactly.
birth and everything was my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
she was the closest thing to what we would call agape love.
Mm-hmm.
So
Woo!
when
That
you
Yeah.
say
everlasting love.
that's right, because a woman, listen, look at Jeffrey Dahmer. His
Okay.
man was murdering everybody, and his mother stuck by his
Yeah,
side,
exactly.
and
Side.
he was a murderer. What?
Right.
That's love, bro. That's
Yeah,
love.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
yes, like the
You
Real.
brother said earlier, love consists of good and bad.
and
Mm-hmm.
But
yes, it
Mm-hmm.
does.
Mm-hmm.
It's
yeah,
good. It's a mixture of good and evil.
that's right.
And a lot of
Yeah.
people don't understand that. They just feel like it's supposed to be this good thing that's completely amazing. But me personally, if you've never had a bad interaction with your partner, how do you know what you live in is truly beautiful?
I
Mm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's deep. That's deep.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Agreed. Agreed.
I agree.
Agreed.
That's
Like,
it's
honestly,
emergent.
if
Mm-hmm.
huh?
I
Like,
said
if
it's
you
emergent.
ask anybody that's like
Mm-hmm.
deeply into spirits, they say you'll find beauty in the most chaotic places.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Because
sir. So
we're
true.
dealing
So
with
true.
merging.
So
We're
true.
merging human. We're merging two people
Hmm.
merging,
Mm-hmm.
and the emotions meet before you meet the actual person.
That's right.
So when
Oh.
when the actual merger starts, you move in together, you're laying next to each other, you're snoring, and all the things that they don't like. Yeah, we'll put
They
up with
farting
it.
next to you.
Then the personality clash. Then this
Mm-hmm.
is the way I do it. Why don't you do it the way I do it? It's a
Hmm.
merger, and if you realize what mergers do, mergers either mesh together perfectly, or one of the other
Take over.
breaks the order for it all to stick correctly. Whether you have to tear the whole building down and rebuild it together, or you accept the idea that something in my life is going to break in order for me to be with this person, and
Yeah,
I'm
that's
willing
fine.
to do it.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
I'm willing to do with it.
Yeah.
Man,
Oh,
there's a
definitely,
beautiful
definitely.
panel right here.
Stanley,
There's a beautiful panel right here. I love
Very
my
good.
brother.
I
Oh yeah.
appreciate you. I appreciate you,
Love you
brother.
too, bro. That's what's up. That's what's
Hey,
up.
I appreciate it. Hey,
I'm over
Danny.
here. I'm over here throwing onions and cilantro and stuff in here because y'all cooking like a motherfucker right now, bro. Oh, with me, going on to the topic of silent emotional wars. The way that I was brought up, it wasn't all. I've always been the type to stand up and speak. Um, in my family, we are what you would say truth speakers. We have no issue with saying how we feel. And I mean, when I was younger, nothing really bothered me because I knew that I wasn't doing anything wrong, and it sucked. I was speaking the truth, and you know that saying where they say truth hurts. I'm like, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't always what I was saying, but sometimes how I was saying it. I would just say it exactly how I felt, which that was me with my emotional side. I didn't have that emotional intelligence yet to be able to convey the things that I needed to say in a way to where I'm talking to the elephant rather than to the person.
Right.
Because
Wow.
I would end up speaking to the person. Now there's emotions involved, and that leads to arguments. When I can talk to the elephant, where you understand what I'm saying, so where I'm not hurting your ego, then I can actually
Mm-hmm.
you understand what I'm saying, and that's when people will actually be a little more receptive to the things that you're saying. So I had to work on my emotional intelligence. As I grew up, speaking, eventually what ended up happening was I started to slow down on me speaking due to the fact that the way that I got attacked was they would try and silence me. And the way that they would end up silencing me is by attacking my ego, which would usually be things along the
Mm-hmm.
lines of smear campaigns, slander in my name, things along those lines. Now, with that, I'm a Marine, so I have pride. And I learned pride stands for please remember I destroy everything. So with that, my pride was constantly had me on the forefront, feeling like I needed to defend who I am when people were sitting here trying to silence me. So then eventually
Mm-hmm.
at the point where I stopped speaking. So that way these other people would stop trying to create an image of me. So that way other people would think that's how I am. And then eventually I got to the point where I was like, nah, F that. Because I realized my reality. And my reality is the truth for me, you know? And with that,
Yeah. Yeah.
hey, how you doing, Samir? So with that, I need to speak because when you sit there and hold everything in, your emotions, that right there is going to turn you into someone that you don't recognize. Once you turn into someone you do not recognize, you start doing things
Yeah.
that you think you would never, you would see that you would think you would have thought that you never would have done.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Start doing those things that you thought you never would have done. You now are fitting the narrative of what other people are saying that you are.
Right.
So the best thing for us
Speak.
to do is to speak and let these things out. We are emotional creatures. The thing with us is we are creatures of love. We are creatures of unity. We are emotional creatures. If we try and deviate away from what we are, then that's when we become how the Bible tries to say we are. The demons, that 666, the 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how we can be the downfall of humanity. By not speaking, by not being who we are, because then we're going to turn into exactly what they want us to be, that evil entity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And total
Man.
agreement. And total agreement. You know, a lot of times we don't realize the thing that we've been taught as children, as young men, how to deal with our emotions. Don't cry, sit down, don't do this, be strong, be this way. And you develop that over time. So I agree with everybody over on the panel because it only takes that one impression for you to just believe that one thing, that one time. Once you like it, it becomes something. It sends off that thing in the mind that you just get a high from. So you say, I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna do that again. So, being silent emotional pain is just that's where a lot of men are faced depression with. That's
Right.
why we have so
Mm-hmm.
many of our
Heart
youth
attack.
right now in depression because they're not able to express themselves. And I myself have been someone who dealt with depression for over 10 years. It was the inability to speak where that pain was coming from.
Right.
And how do you articulate that pain from where it comes from? What do you
Yep.
what do you say to another? You know what I'm saying? What do you say to another? Like, hey, how you feel? Well, I don't even know how I feel. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? When
Mm-hmm.
you
You
can't
don't
even
even know how you
explain how you
feel.
feel. Right. You can't even
Right.
explain how you feel.
And that is
Right.
that
So
right
Right.
there, I feel is something that we need to work on more with our children. Because if you can sit
yeah.
there when
Oh,
kids are
definitely.
throwing those emotional tantrums, you need to be able to sit there and get them used to what those emotions are. Because I feel like the reason
Yeah.
why a lot of people are disconnected with their emotions because they don't really even know how they're feeling or why they're feeling the way that they're feeling. Like here's a little story with my
Hmm.
son. When he was younger, he would sit there and scream, cry, have a tantrum. We're like, okay, cool. We'll let him get it out a little bit and we'll talk with him. Be like, okay, Zachariah, yes. How do you feel? Why are you crying? I'm crying because I'm upset. Why are you upset? I'm upset because daddy took my toy from me. Okay. You understand why daddy took your toy from you. No, just okay, all right, hold on. Before we allow emotions to build up again, let's try and get to the root of this. Because with that, now I have the opportunity to teach my son a lesson here. So I can teach him like, okay, daddy took the toy from you because daddy asked you 2 times not to do this or to do this, and you chose not to. You are focused on the toy. So the reason with that, for every action, there is a reaction of equal or greater consequences. The consequence here is me taking the toy from you. So that way you know
Oh.
when something is said or there's something you need to do, go ahead and do that. I know, but okay, understood. You are perfectly fine with feeling the way that you feel. There's nothing wrong with feeling the way that you feel. I just want you to understand what it is that you are feeling. So that way, when you feel that feeling coming up again, instead of you getting upset, picking up a gun or something and doing something you know that you shouldn't do, or something that is caused by a temporary moment of rage, which is technically insanity. Because if you are mad right now and you do that same thing and record it and look back at it later, you're not even going to recognize who you are, my boy.
But
So
see,
with
this is
that,
the thing.
what's up?
You got to realize you're talking to yourself.
Yeah.
That is your
Yeah.
DNA.
Yeah.
So because it's your DNA, you have to search your soul to find out why the attitude is that way, why he does throw tantrums. I'll give you
Yes.
a prime example. My dad and my brother would run into, when he got mad, he'd run to walls head first. So my dad was at work for the most part. He never saw the tantrums. So he came in one day. My brother was running head first into the wall, pissed off. And he was like, that's me. Let's go deal with it. He recognized himself in him and he dealt with it because he was like, look, I don't want it to get off. I don't want it to get off and ugly like it did for me.
You got a
So,
long
but
seat
being
for
with
it.
your kids,
A long
and
seat
this is
for
where you got to be lined up or eventually get to this place to where I'm solid because I just created a life. I gotta be solid because I have to lead this life in a specific direction, so they'll know who they are first of all. And Zachariah leagues above any child I ever met. Leagues above any child I ever met. You have to
Oh,
realize this is my DNA.
I got a block.
This is how I deal with it. This is the love I have
Yeah.
to give it. And sometimes when children are born, they feel the disconnect between you or the things that you're going through, and they act it out. Like my son was acting out on the basis of, hey, I feel like I've been abused. No, you haven't. You're feeling my abuse. Now I have to talk to you about what happened when I was growing up. So you understand how you're feeling. It's not against you, not towards you. You're feeling what my DNA passed along to you. You see what I'm saying?
Ooh,
And so love covers that,
that was
right?
deep.
I love you. I don't want you to hurt. I don't want you to go through the things that I went through. Let's continue to have conversations. You can yell and scream if you want to. After you're done, we have to talk about how you feel. You see what I'm saying? But because I didn't get the opportunity to do that, my whole life was locked down, literally locked down. I know everybody on this call can relate to that. If you had a black mother, your life is locked down. Shut your mouth. It's happened
You
because
already
I said
know.
it. I said it because I said it. It's gonna happen the way I said it. You're lying because I said you're lying. And we didn't have
Mm-hmm.
a word in edgewise, so we had to walk chalk line. Or the alternate was, I'm gonna beat your ass, and you're gonna remember it for the rest of your life, and that's what
Shit.
happens. So that's a point of discord. So how we treat our kids now, and in some cases it works. It works when you tap that behind to make sure, okay, I've told you 5 times. Now we got to deal with it a different way because you're not getting it. But at the same time, the lessons, the teaching, the pulling out the gifts and the make sure that we're celebrating their gifts. Yes, you did really, really well. All that's appropriate because we want them to grow up more healthy than we grew up, and it's possible we can do that. That's the first. That is the first step. That's the first step in changing what the future looks like, is dealing with your own.
Yes, yeah, I agree with that.
Preach.
100%, 110%. And so, in talking with that, we're gonna go right into our next subject that we're talking about. Do men fear love? With all that y'all just disclosed tonight of how we understood life and where we get it from and how we see it and that which we have experienced, do men today fear love?
Hey, I
Yeah.
wanna. Can I make a request? Can I make a request?
Sure.
I wanna hear from the big people real quick, just because of the fact that love for them I feel was a little different than how love is seen for the younger folk right now.
That's why the younger folks need to go first. So the young folks need to understand how they understand love, and then the older folk in the end gonna let us know how we
Why you gonna
understand
have us
love.
show our ass first?
Because y'all hit it's all about understanding love. If you're talking about love, do men love? We've been here a little bit longer. So why would
Yeah.
the shortest people amount of time, you know what I'm saying, gonna talk about the most about love? So the shorter people amount of time, you speak about love from the first perspective because we have a greater grand understanding of love and how that
Right.
functions and experience is. There's no disrespect to the love that you all hold, the understanding that both of you all hold. Very intelligent young men, kings and gods in your own right. But don't mistake God. They are
Ah,
titans that come before you.
I love that flex, bro. I love that flex.
Titans come before
I
you.
will.
Yeah,
I will say
Titans.
this.
Okay.
I'll say this. When it comes to do men fear love, I would have to say it depends on the definition of love, because I feel like the way that men see love is different than how women see love.
Okay.
I say that because I grew up with pretty much women, and I get along more now with women than I do with men, just because of the way that I grew up. A lot of men these days, their
Yeah.
idea of love is more physical.
Right.
And that kind of bothers me, because I grew up seeing how my mom, my sister, my aunt were affected with when it came down to the definition, or when it came down to the misinterpretation between the two and the two sexes about what love is. A man saying I love you to try and get his dick wet, and a woman saying I love you because she sees you. So I mean, that right there was crazy. With me, when I say I love you, it's because of the way that we support one another, the partnership that we have. And I feel like I'm not gonna lie. I can, in the past, I started off as love, a feeling, and then growing up, I reached the point where I was like, you know what, fuck it, nobody else cares. Why the fuck should I? And then I was like, well, if they just want to use me, then I'm just going to use them. That went against my spirit. And then I ended up got out of my whole phase and met the woman that I have now, woman of my dreams, where I swear to God, I tell her, I almost got slapped the first time I asked her, do you think we're supposed to be together? And she took that as in like, the fuck? Like, you trying to break up with me type stuff? And I was like, no, seriously, like, do you think we're supposed to be together? And no matter how many times we die and wherever we come back as, we're going to find each other once again. Do you think we're supposed to be together? As in nothing can tear us apart. That type of love. Oh gosh. Oh no, it's coming. All right. This is divine time. Here we go. The type of love to where even if I'm walking down the road, the first thing that crosses my mind before I get into a car accident is the thought of what you may go through if I'm no longer here. The type of love to where if I sit down, take a breath in, I can smell the aroma from your perfume, and I know that just that alone brings a smile to my face. The type of love to where anytime that I think of you, I know that you're thinking of me because we have that connection mentally to where anytime that I look at something, you'll bring it up later on. I'm like, yo, that crossed my mind earlier too. The type of love to where if I can't get no sleep, you're not getting sleep either because you're worried about how my day is going to be because you know how I am if I am actually going through the day very tired. The type of love to where if I don't have it, you have it. If you don't have it, I have it. The type of love to where we have a partnership to where anything that goes on, if someone thinks of you, they think of me, and if they think of me, they think of you. The type of partnership and the type of love to where everything that I do is not codependent upon you, but it's because I love you.
Brother, you a poet.
I am.
I was just about to say that.
Sorry.
I was about to say, I know a poet when I hear one.
I'm giving you fingers on that one, baby.
My bad, bro. My
bad. You almost gave me chills, bro.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
That's real beautiful.
When it comes down to the way that people love, that's what I'm talking about. You have some people who love so deep, and then some people who love on such a surface level. And that's why I was like, all right, Ben, I'm gonna go ahead and touch it first because that's how I feel. So
that's it. My God.
Do we fear love? It depends on what you're looking for and the type of love that the other person is looking for, because that might make it to where you fear that person because they might have something that you feel is good for you, but everything in their essence is bad for you.
Beautiful, beautiful.
That spoke volumes.
Love, Rio.
I don't think that men. Oh, sorry, brother.
Like, I thought about that for a while. Like, are men scared of love? I don't necessarily think that we are. I feel like one, we have such a diluted way of how we supposed to show our love. Because most men, what do they tell you a man's supposed to do? Provide and protect. So, with that being said, that's all your mindset is. That's all I have to do, and that's what shows that I love this woman if I'm providing and protecting for this woman. So, a lot of us, we want love. We just don't know how to receive it nor how to give it.
True state. True state.
And honestly, I'm speaking for myself on that part as well, because as a man, especially as a black man, shit, I really don't know how to love somebody. Like, it took years and years for me to learn that instead of trying to ask a person how to love them, just sit back, pay attention. Look at what she likes. Pay attention to what makes her sad. Pay attention to what excites her. That's love. Like, that's how you show certain ways. But as far as like most men don't know how to show that because they haven't even been given the opportunity to show that side of themselves.
Fact.
But yeah, but you know what, brother?
Go ahead.
One thing I would say, I think we spoke on it earlier, and I said my first love was my mother, right? So years as a child, I watched my mother was the first one that looked at me in my face and said, you know what? there's no Santa Claus. She always knew how to tell truth. There's no Santa Claus. I'm your Santa Claus. That's what she told me. That was a form of love, because I'm busy looking at a fake chimney thinking some white man come down the chimney. So my mother was real.
Right.
My dad loved my dad, rest his soul. My dad would always tell me half truths. My mother always kept it 1,000. My dad always told me half truths, but my mom always kept it 1,000. She showed her love from day one because she was real about who she was. So that's why I knew about love and truth. It came through my mother, because my father, his father didn't show him love, and actually when he grew up, he didn't know how to show me love. Yes, he kept food on the table. Yes, he kept food on the table. Yes, he kept a roof over their head. That was his thing. That's how he was taught. That was love. But my mother showed me what real love was, because every time I looked in the audience as a child, when I was getting awards, you know who was there and who wasn't there? My mother was always there.
There you go.
My dad wasn't there. So for a long time, internally, that had messed me up until my dad got sick, and I had to learn to meditate and pray to say, listen, Most High, take that what my dad did in the past. Hey man, he didn't know how to love me the way I wanted to be loved, but he still loved me. So now I have to do my job, is what my mother and the Most High taught me how to love, because I learned that a lot from my mother and the Most High. So I was able to take care of my dad because my mother showed me how to love, even him, regardless if I had some kind of animosity. I had to let that go, because it was my responsibility as an older child, the oldest sibling, is to take care of my dad. So that was love, because I had to come in the driveway and say to myself, God, I don't know if I could do this, because I used to be so angry with my father. I had that in for years as a child, so I was a grown man. But then I realized that the love that my mother had showed me and the Most High had installed in me, I knew how to love him at the end. And that was the only 3 times I ever heard my father said, I love you, son, is when he was almost on his deathbed. But I was happy to hear it. I was happy to hear it, because I finally heard it come from his lips, his mouth. And that made so much of a difference to me to hear my father say, I love you, son. It took him to be almost on his deathbed before he said it. And that's some real talk, I'm telling you. So see, it's just the era he grew up under. See, he didn't know how to show his love. He knew how to show his love by the man thing he did, by taking care of us, rent pays and everything else. Yeah, financially. But far as emotionally, my dad didn't have that. My granddad didn't have that. So the only way I learned how to be loved was the Most High and my mom's, man.
Walk.
That is
Man, I appreciate
Woo!
No,
that.
this is good.
That's good, man. That's
I told you today. I said this gonna be powerful today.
This is
gonna be
powerful, bro. Powerful
today.
understatement, my guy. You shooting through mountains right now. This is good.
It's a classic here, baby.
There you go.
It's definitely classic.
Yeah, this was for me. For me, it is kind of a fear, and the reason why is because I think I was telling you guys a little bit earlier. We grew up kind of rugged, and I'll start it this way. My dad's world and my mom's world were 2 different worlds.
Yes.
My mom was hood. My dad's family was well-to-do. They met each other, and this is what we talked about earlier, the clash. This whole clash. They loved each other. They showed each other affection. They had 9 children. But where they bumped heads was how to raise the children, what abuse was, and he had to teach my mom this. He tried to teach my mom this, because all my mom knew was a harsh discipline. She disciplined with extension cords, with baseball bats, 2x4s. drag you from under the bed, and beat you until you bloody. That's the way my
That was my
mom was.
pops.
My dad, on the other hand, was no. It was like, no, you're not touching my kids until you learn how to discipline. It's not all about beating them. Talk to them. That's what we learned from my dad. So the love for my dad, that's what's here in the center of me. When he died, though, my mom never got the message. So all the times that she couldn't discipline us, she beat us like we were slaves, runaway slaves. Her discipline was, I mean, again, for the most part, a lot of things that she did to keep us under wraps, I appreciate, because it put me in a state of mind where I had to be vigilant, and I had to keep myself honest. You see what I'm saying? So, but there's a lot of other things that she did that just wasn't right at all, period. So it had me growing up believing that I had to accept abuse from a woman. And that was that part, my first relationship with regards to being in a long-term relationship was horrible, because all I did was accept abuse until it came to a portion of where I was like, wait a minute, is it actually really supposed to be this way? And I found out it wasn't. So I'm like, okay, I need to talk to somebody that actually knows what relationships are actually supposed to be like. That's where when you pick the person that's going to help you learn about it. You can't pick a person that is already bitter about the situation that they were in. And that was my second mistake. I went to a woman that was bitter about how men were, and all she talked about was what they did to her, and how she didn't love men. She didn't like men because of this. She didn't like men because of that. And they did this to me. And it made me in my mind think, man, okay, well, I got to be everything that she's saying that she don't like. So here we go. I'm trying to be something. I'm trying to undo what happened to her that I hadn't even experienced or hadn't done. So I had to kind of walk this chalk line to be the man that she wanted, but that still wasn't an education for me. There was a person that I met when I was going to school, and we're talking about cosmic love. When I first met this person, it wasn't about the whole sex thing. It wasn't about any of that. It was this bond and this connection that it was unwritten. We lost contact, and I was like, oh man, okay. So I'm tumbling through life, dealing with these women on the same basis. And I met this woman, and I met her in church. So in my head, I was like, okay, she's in church. Okay, this may be different. The emotional things that this person went through, after a while, I sat back and I watched, and I realized I'm just here as a buffer for her, because now she's learning about all the things, all the abuse that she's received from her mom. She's learning that wasn't right. I literally walked her through understanding what she should accept and what she shouldn't. And at the same time, she felt like, hey, people did me dirty, people did me wrong. Now it's my turn to do it to you. And I'm like, okay, this is what you got out of this? So wow. Verbally abusive, physically abusive, the whole nine. And I'm like, man, what the hell? So I sat back and I said, look, hold on a second. I realize you've gone through hell as a child. You're coming to an understanding of how your life needs to be, but I am not your whipping boy. We have to come to a better understanding. And after a while, we had 3 children together, four children together. We came to a point to where I said, look, this ain't gonna work. You obviously don't see who I am. You obviously don't see me at all, period. It's going to take you until you're probably in your late 30s to realize that I was actually even in your life here to help you. So I have to back off the line, because I'm not getting anything but abuse from you. So that made me literally gun shy. So I pulled back from her. I took care of my responsibility, took care of my kids, and the relationship between her and being parents was even worse, because I'm trying to teach my kids one way, and she's completely carrying what I'm teaching to my children. So it's like I'm fighting a losing battle, and it made me question love, whether love actually existed or not. And I'm like, okay,
Mm.
everybody's saying this, but people are so tormented by things that happen to them. Do they even have any room to love? You see what I'm saying? And then
Mm.
do finally wake up, they're overwhelmed by this. They're completely overwhelmed by this sexual thing that they think love is. So now you're looking at sex to fulfill what you believe love is, and then the breakdown comes with that because not everybody's loving that way, the same way, and then you're abused in that way. Now you're raped or sexually molested by someone, and it begins to build up to something completely ugly. Now, the other thing for me when I was a child was I was molested by my aunt. When that happened, it gave me a false idea of what my body was, how my body should react. So for a long time, and my dad was like the hero in that. When he caught her doing what she did, he dealt with her, and I saw that he dealt with her. So I was like, okay, it wasn't right. Good. I'm not. I wasn't supposed to happen that way. So it helped me mentally. But when it came down to actual love, the one that the person that resurfaced in my life, I knew it from the time that we were kids up until the time that we reconnected. And we have both been through hell dealing with people. And to come back together and the silent truth between us, the silent conversation between us, this cosmic love between us had nothing to do with sex. That's an added plus. You see what I'm saying? But this love, it's a love that I can't really fully describe, but it's there and it's understanding. It's understanding. It's kindness. It's peace. It's conversation. It's not yelling or screaming. It's not fighting. We're merging together and we're having this great conversation, and we love each other. I can say that. I know it without her saying it. She don't have to tell me that. I know it. I feel it. So I went from being completely battered in the midst of understanding love and completely gun shy, like I don't even think love exists, to I reconnected with this woman that is the epitome of love and elegance. You see what I'm saying? That's where I am now. But man, yes, if you're out in this world and no one's really explained for you to understand what it is or what it looks like, you're gonna fear it, but you're gonna fall into it because you think it's sex. And she said she loved me when we was having sex, and maybe that's what it is. No, it's not. There's like Rio said, there's an intelligent part to all of this. There's an intelligence. How do I talk to you? What do I say? What do I say wrong? What am I feeling right now from you? Tell me how you feel. Explain to me what's going on. How do I make things better? What am I doing wrong? This is how I feel when you do this. It's a conversation, and it's us bonding to create something, create a foundation that's completely unbreakable. But it's man, yes, I've been there. I've been in the fear part, but I'm at a place where it is cosmic, literally cosmic, and it's a love that can't be explained and it can't be met.
Preach, preach.
I know
can
that's
understand
right.
on that level.
Oh yeah. That's that true love right there. That true
That's big.
love.
That's
So
big. I love a sappy
oh
story.
yeah,
That is motivational.
yeah,
That is.
definitely. And
Oh,
and
man.
and just to piggyback on what everybody else was saying, everyone has experienced that we as men have grew up in fear of love. You know, in spite of what we seen, we grew up in fear of it, and then we understood to embrace love in its true essence, which leads and guides. You know, that thing that always fulfill us. And yeah, so just like everyone else, my greatest fear was love. You know, so I was in relationships for many years, and the woman would say, "I love you," and I would say, "Me too." I would never say the words "I love you." I would go, "Me too." So I would never say the words "I love you." I had to grow, as Rio said. I had to really grow and understand what love really is to really share that with somebody. So I never, I didn't see love when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? I ain't see that. My
Right.
biological mother, transitioned in 1976. I moved to South Carolina from New York, and since then I've been in South Carolina. And so I've never been in a household where I saw a mother and a father at the same time. I was raised by a single mother. She had to go to work. She had to go get it. That's what her love was. Go get it.
Right.
You know what
Go
I'm
get it.
saying? Like
Yeah.
I ain't never been hungry. I ain't never had a light cut off. I ain't never had, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
shit that I experienced as an adult, I never experienced as a child.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but that understanding what that love really is, do men feel love? Yeah, because we lack the accountability and the structure of what love really is.
Right.
When you're trying to figure love out from the streets and somebody else that's sitting there that does not value and is not invested in your own construction of life. We have to teach love. It's like being able to share with my grandson Naru. If you mad, hey, if you mad, say you mad, and he'll come and tell me sometimes, Papa, I'm mad and sad at the same time, or not, Papa, I'm just mad, and he's gonna tell you why he mad. But he's 7 years old. At 7 years old, you couldn't go and tell, what I'm saying, my mom and them why I was mad. What?
No,
Why?
I'm
Yeah.
like Walt
I
said, you can
couldn't
get
do
your
that.
ass smacking get your ass out the way. You,
Like,
you know what
boy,
I'm
you ain't
saying?
got nothing to be mad about.
You
exactly.
know what I'm
Go take a
saying?
nap.
You ain't got no bills. You ain't got no bills. You ain't got no
Right.
responsibility. The hell you
Right.
mad about? Go sit your ass down somewhere.
Exactly.
So yeah, I know we do feel love because we have displaced all of the emotion. The silent motion was also a displacement. We buried emotions. We shifted to the side. We denied them. We didn't know how to deal with them. We alienated. You know what I'm saying? Emotion
Right.
to where we wouldn't even. I know for
Yeah.
myself, I can just speak that I alienated certain emotions to where if that emotion even came up, I was like, motherfucker, not today.
Yeah.
I ain't even dealing with that type of shit today, bro. I'm finna do something else. So that contributed. Like I'm saying, this is in my 20s now. So that contributed to me drinking a lot, smoking a lot, being in the club a lot, being in places that I really shouldn't be, and doing things that I really shouldn't be doing. But at the
Right.
same time, as Wall said, and they say you try to know that feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You wanna know that. So it's always a beautiful thing, man, when you can actually be able to, a point in your life where you can actually express what that love is, not from just a physical point, because it was easy to have sex with women. It was difficult to understand love
Yeah.
from
Yep.
where I was raised in. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
But
So it was,
can I ask you guys a question? Can I ask a
sure, go
question?
ahead. Yeah.
But was it the journey itself?
Hmm.
We all gave different opinions on how we felt and how
hmm
we feel love and then look at love. But
hmm
wasn't the journey, because we still here speaking about it, isn't that the beauty
Yes.
of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the
Definitely.
purpose of it.
Definitely.
Yes.
That was the purpose
Oh
of it.
man. Right.
It was the
Exactly.
purpose of it. Exactly.
Right.
It was the
Right.
purpose, as Ira stated it earlier. It's the thing that brings that out of us. It what presents itself. So we have to go from a point of not knowing love to a point of actually knowing love.
Right.
So the process, the experience, the ups and the downs, whatever you want to call it, I agree with you totally, brother. That it was necessary.
Yeah.
I told my daughter that just the other night, and she was like, "Man, Dad, some of this stuff." I say, certain things you have to go through, they are necessary for the journey. Certain things that you can learn and you can deviate those things, and they don't have to be something necessary. So
There you go.
there's different ways to go about doing it. You can do it
Right.
either. Now you can go through and experience every single damn thing, and you can get through every damn hurt that you ever want to go through in life. You can go that route.
But why?
But you also can go a route that you can grow inwardly, spiritually, and understand life and
There
grow
you go.
from. So I'm always an advocate of that. So with
Right.
that being said, and I want to say that I really do appreciate everybody on this panel tonight have been able to share their lives, with the world. So I thank y'all that y'all was able to share that on this particular platform, talk that crap, because we know we want to share with people what life is really like. You know what I'm saying? As Black Indigenous men, we have to remember your right to your own emotion.
Nah, bring it back. Bring it back.
Bring it back.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
No.
You got to come on, pull through, bro.
Pull
Pull
through,
through.
Sigma Uno. Don't pull a
You
Sigma
got
Uno.
to finish it, brother. Pull through.
Hey,
Oh,
hey,
man.
this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do real quick. Hey, Mr. Larry.
Yeah.
Larry. What was the biggest lesson in love that
Am
you
I
learned?
back? Am I
Yeah,
back?
you bet.
Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah, what you was
Right,
asking?
I was asking, what was the biggest lesson in love that you learned?
I learned that love is patience, bro. Love is patience.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It is
Yeah.
so patient because, like one of the brothers was explaining earlier, what he had to go through. Look, I went through the same thing through my first marriage. I mean, I didn't know what love was really. I didn't know what love was. I didn't learn that until after 7 years of divorce, and I told the Most High, I ain't choosing my woman no more. You choose her for me.
My picker's broken.
I said, you choose her for me because I can't do it.
Right.
Because when I thought a woman loved me, she didn't love me. She may have loved the position of being married, but that's not love to me.
No, it's not.
Love is being, hey, Heavy D said it the best. I want a woman that can eat beans out of a can with me if times got hard.
Damn right.
I know y'all
Right.
laughing, but Heavy D, that was real.
Classic.
That was real
That's
to me.
classic.
Because that means that woman is willing to grind out with you. And that to me shows me love. That we are both are willing to get it together.
That's it.
See, she ain't waiting for me and I ain't waiting for her. We just do this thing together.
That's it.
Yeah.
And to me, that shows love because I'm gonna tell this real quick story. Real quick. I remember one time I had to stay in the house because all these the bills was in somebody else's name. And they had refused to work with me to get everything right? So I'm staying in the house with this woman, my new wife, right now. It was no hot water. It was cold. I had to use a generator in the house, and she was right there by my side. You tell me that ain't love these days. Because another one would be like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
Another woman would have been like, I'm out.
I'm out. This woman said, I'm staying here with you, and we're going to get through this together. That's love, bro.
That's it.
That's what love is. Love is long suffering. Love sometimes could be pain. But at the same time, when you could go through the war and the battles, and you still look at each other and say, we still here, baby. Man, that's love, bro.
The only thing that I would ask is take the long suffering out of love. Let it be joyful growth. You know what I'm saying? Let it be joyful growth. We have to take these terminologies out of our lexicon. We're not able to repeat that, but mean something different. Because when people hear that which comes from you, that's going to be what they know.
Brother. That's why we here to build together.
Oh yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh hell yeah. So with that right there, like I said, I appreciate everybody with every breath I take, man. Y'all giving up y'all time today, sharing with the world what it is an indigenous man, what we need to remember, what we need to understand, and what we went through as silent emotional wars, the wars that we go through mentally and emotionally. You know, from everybody to show their in-depth understanding and their experience of life. I appreciate all you guys for that. And so we're gonna go around the room, and we'll start with brother Jamal. We'll start with you first, brother, because you kept it hype all day. I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go with you first. You kept it hype all day, baby.
So what was the question again, brother? I'm sorry.
Just closing remarks.
Hello?
Anything you want to leave with? Yeah. Can you hear me?
My closing remarks. Man, let's each other. Let's keep on trying to help, teach, and show our younger people and our younger generation that there are brothers that still have this love for you and the others around us. We just want to see everybody grow. We want to see everybody learn how to love. We want to see everybody learn how to respect each other and respect the elders, just like we got to respect our youngins. Because yes, some of the youngins is lost, but guess what? If we don't, man, we had this saying in this club I am my brother's keeper. And I'm gonna keep on loving my brothers and
Yes,
sisters when
yes,
I see
yes.
them. I'm gonna keep on loving them. I'm gonna open the door for my brothers if they walking into a store. Hey, you coming? You going first, bruh. It's no catch to it. I just
Right.
respect you enough that hey, let me open this door for you. And guess what? A lot of times that same energy come back to me. I was walking to where brother will open the door. There you go, brother. Man, I appreciate that because they feel that energy and that
Mm-hmm.
frequency. So
Right.
we got to
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
continue, regardless if other people don't want to see it happen. We want to see it happen.
Right.
So I respect my brothers that was on this panel. Y'all, we are some powerful brothers, man.
Yes, we
And
are.
this is the kind of platform that we want to always support and make sure that we get this. Because I'm coming with a podcast too called Brother to Brother. But this right here, boy, I love this right here now.
Me too, man.
So we gonna
Yeah.
be guests on each other podcast
Yes,
because
sir.
look,
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
we got to help
that's what
each
we
other
do.
be better, and we got the same dreams in mind of
Yes.
helping each other,
Yes.
helping
Yeah.
our brothers and sisters around us. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Oh
say
yeah.
that I'm say peace to all my family out there and peace to the brothers and sisters out there that's also in this same fight we all into. Love you guys.
Man.
Yeah.
Love you too, man.
Peace and love.
Love.
Thank you, man. Man. Whew.
Hey,
Rio,
Mr. Real, you good to talk? Closing remarks?
Huh?
You good to talk
closing
on the closing
remarks.
remarks?
Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm good to talk. My
This
closing
my
remarks
dude.
would be, man. What, man? It's
I say
always
this
a
my
pleasure to be
dude.
on the panel with y'all, man. Like from Danley all the way to everybody, bro. Danley, if it wasn't for you, bro, I wouldn't be here right now having these conversations
Yeah,
and having my
Wow.
that's
mind
for sure.
open to way more
That's for sure.
discussions, bro. So I
Mm-hmm.
do say thank you for everything, bro. Like this has been very therapeutic for me because as black men, we don't have an outlet for us to really talk and to be outside of what society wants us to talk about and be.
Right.
So I
Mm-hmm.
thank you for the platform, bro. And I would like this to reach a lot more brothers. So I'm gonna start sharing y'all contents on my profile, bro, because I believe this is something that we really need to tackle as a community. And the
Yeah.
more
Yeah,
messages
Do
like this
that.
get out, the better chance we have as a community of coming together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
that's gratitude and blessing on that, brother.
Hey, that
Gratitude.
is the vision, and ultimately, I gotta let you know, this isn't my platform. This is Mr. Impossible's platform.
Yeah, I
This is
know.
this man's
Oh, I'm sharing
platform.
his too.
So I mean, yes,
I'm sharing
by
his too, man.
all means, we both got
All
the
my
same
homies
Mr.
got
vision.
to get that
Impossible.
work, bro.
We both got the
Oh
same
yeah,
vision. I
man. We
mean,
working.
in all
We
honesty,
working.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's
like
it.
true talking to lie.
Definitely
I'm
send
gonna do
me
my
the
closing remarks. I'm gonna do my closing remarks right before Impossible. So with it, I want Mr. Sigma Uno to go because this man got a lot of knowledge and wisdom. I
yeah.
really
Yes,
respect this
sir.
man.
Yes, sir.
And everything he's got to say. Everything he's got to say. Like truth talking no lie. Like go ahead, Mr. Sigma Uno.
Man, first of all, man, these are you guys are some juggernauts, bro. This whole battle is juggernaut all day, man. We need to do something else just exactly like this because people need to hear what we're talking about, man. Because a lot, like you said, there's a lot of brothers that don't know how to even start having this conversation. So, man,
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate
Mm-hmm.
everybody at the panel. Man, I've learned so much. I've been reconnected with emotions and fully understand what love is. I mean, look, man, there's a natural to all of this. There's something that's so natural to all of this
Yes.
that we gotta
Yes.
embrace.
I love it.
And if we
I
begin to
love it.
if we begin to embrace the natural to all of this, it's simple. It's
Mm-hmm.
simple. If we, and
Yeah.
again, I said this before, and it sounds like a corny idea, I know, but if we pick a neighborhood where we're at and strike up a barbecue and start having conversations, man, we'll break down some walls. We may not save them all at one time, but just to begin to do something, to get in their
That's
face,
right.
in their space. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how I feel. And this is the beginning of it, I know, because everybody on this panel, juggernauts, bro, juggernauts. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the ability to be on the panel. Thanks, brother Impossible.
Man, thank you, brother, for giving up your time. I appreciate you. Go ahead, Danny.
Well, I guess it's my turn. All right.
Yeah.
All right. First
Drop
of all,
that thing.
I'm gonna let you know right now. I'm about to go ahead and shotgun this. I'm going shotgun. I'm gonna start with Mr. Larry Jackson. Yo, man. Big up yourself, bro. Your energy, like even before we started the episode today, just the conversation we were having. Mad respect, bro. You have not switched up, and I love the level of enthusiasm that you had in everything that you said. You can feel the love and the passion through the camera, through all of it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right? That right
for
there,
sure.
Big up, bro. I love that. Do not change who you are, and I mean, I'm sure that you're not. I can tell from looking at you that you have gone through things to where you were questioning who you were when you were younger. And I'm not, when I say younger, it could have been yesterday you were wondering exactly who you were, but you dug down, deep down, and found who you are, and now you're trying to push it out to everybody else. I heard it from the way that you were talking.
Thank you.
Rio. My brother from another mother. I wish I was as tall as you, bro. And I'm not gonna lie, I am a little upset that you cut your locks off. But hey, thank you for the support. Thank you for the passion as well. Again, this is Impossible. Yeah. This is Impossible's platform right now. We got the same vision. So I mean, you already know the energy we bring to my platform, Divine Time. But right now, now we're talking that crap. We talking that crap. And hey, Mr. Impossible, do me a favor. Tell them what crap stands for. Because when you told me, I was like, that's powerful. Real quick, tell them what crap stands for.
Creative rhymes, always positive.
And with that, we are trying to create a world that is more positive, because everything that a lot of things that you're noticing in the world is very negative. And Rio, I remember talking to you, a year and a half ago, and some of the things that you were saying, some of the things that you were dealing with, and looking at you right now, like back then, it was like, okay, this dude's struggling with some shit. And right now, you can tell that this has been therapeutic for you. And I love every time that I ask you, I'm like, hey, bro, I got a pound coming Saturday. You like, bet what time? And I'm like, dude, I didn't even tell you the topic yet. You like, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. So respect. I love the energy and I love the support that you always been providing. Mr. Sigma Uno. Let me go ahead and cock and load and put another round in this shotgun for you. Man, since I met you in Washington State, I didn't know who you were, but I was drawn to you. And I realized why I was drawn to you, because the way that you love and show the love towards the woman that I call my mother-in-law is the way that I plan to grow and love my wife. And the crazy is the fact that the same way that you are a protector is the same way that I'm a protector. I was able to relate to you based off of some of the things that I was going through and the way that you felt about it too. I was vibrating with anger and you were vibrating with anger, and you didn't even go through this crap that I was going through. You for me in the same way that I wanted to handle it was let me put it like this. I wanted to handle it in the physical way. You wanted to deal with it in a way that would touch them, spin them around, make them feel like they was being waterboarded, and then be like, where the fuck that come from? So I was like, okay, he gets it. He understands where I'm coming from. When I say warriors of love, you are definitely one of those as well. I feel like,
for sure.
True talk, no lie, I feel like I'm you in a younger version. But at the same time, I have a lot of growing up to do. That's where I feel that you are. That's the reason why I be walking around with my hand in your pocket. I'm like AT&T, reach out and touch somebody. And that's somebody that I'm
reach out and
touching.
touch somebody.
I'm not waiting until after 7 o'clock for 3 minutes. You understand?
Exactly.
Wow, my guy. I came down here in the hardest of spirits. When I came to South Carolina, I was dealing with so much stuff, and the way that things were beating me up. And when I first met you and I was talking with you, something told me like, hey, this is someone that you can confide in. But the trust issues that I had from opening up to people and them using it against me later on, I did not want to talk to you.
Right.
And I could tell that you kind of felt that because you didn't rush it.
Nope.
I would start to say something and I'm like, nah. And you're like, okay. And I'm like, okay.
That's it.
I'm like, all right, cool, that's
Exactly.
what's up.
Exactly.
I'm like, this dude's respecting my boundaries. I respect
Right.
that.
Mhm.
Much love.
Right.
I was like, but at
Right.
the same time, some people act kind in your face and be another way behind your back.
There you go.
So when you're
That's true.
sitting there, and you tell a story that is not true to see how the person reacts, and their reaction is the same of what you thought that they were going to do, you know you got a real one.
Right. Exactly.
Because I'm not gonna lie, sometimes
Yeah.
I do that. I will say something that is not right towards an individual. What I mean, let me rephrase that. If I know this happened, I will say that this happened because I know that if someone else starts talking about this happened, I know who is gossiping.
Right.
And
Yeah.
when you tell somebody something and
Right.
you don't hear nothing about it later on, you like, dang, this person thought that I opened up a moment of weakness to them and they ain't say shit. So I know
Right.
that I can actually open up with this individual.
Right.
With that, I thank you for that because the time that we are living in,
Much
you don't
better.
know who is your friend, who is your enemy.
Can't
And like
Yeah.
how Larry said earlier, this is before we even started the episode.
Think
He was
it's-
like, everybody whose family ain't kin.
I think it's
Mhm.
1730.
Mhm.
Exactly. And I mean, when you go through certain things, you're very
So much
cautious
been
about
cracked
who
up.
you talk to. Not even so much of the trust part, because you can talk to anybody, and when it comes down to the trust, the first thing to even figure out if you can trust somebody is via conversation. And a lot of people will sit there and slick you and talk the right things to you to get you to open up so they can fuck you. Excuse my language. They can do you so dirty
You all
that
right, brother? Say what you say.
you feel better. And with
Yeah.
that, I thank you because there's not a lot of people that I run across who are genuine as well, who also share the vision of enlightening, empowering, and at the same time bringing true, genuine positivity and love towards the world.
Mm.
So when you find
Right.
other warriors of love with me, I'm like, you got to hold on to them. They say
Check,
everybody who's
man.
a lesson or a blessing, you're always going to run across blessings. You're always going to run across lessons, and everybody is not a blessing. Everyone who enters your life is not
That's
supposed
true.
to be there forever. But I can honestly
Right.
say, bro, like, even when you transition on, and I know that I'm walking through and all of a sudden a random book pops in my head, I'm like, this motherfucker still got it. So,
Exactly.
big up, bro. I love you. I love you to death. I love you to death. And thank
Hey,
you for
man.
having me on today.
Man.
Wow.
You know, I'm just one phone call away. I
Oh,
can't
wait.
I don't want to scare all your listeners away from making their ears bleed. But hey, I'm gonna turn
Oh,
it back.
no, bro. Hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Hey, listen, man. I am so grateful, man, for everyone that's on this panel, for everything that y'all have shared today. Man, it's been so it's been invigorating every single day, every single time. I remember the first time I met Ira, and we began to talk, and he was talking about he had a podcast. Man, I want to put you on my podcast. I was like, nah, all right, that's fine, but just let me know whenever, bro. Just let me know whenever. So it went on for probably around about 9 months later, and I went on this podcast the very first time, and I was like, okay, all right. He said, yo, you ought to do a podcast. I was like, all right. What I'm gonna call it? So I'm gonna call it We Talk That Crap. We coming out with everything. And so the music that y'all heard, that was me. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And I got oh yeah. That's me.
Bro, that was a
In
fire
the beginning intro. Yeah, that intro, that's me. It's called the Impossible Spit. So yeah, that right there. And so we coming back into a point where we reign. Gonna give it to him, man.
Since I've been on my shit, sideline and haters observing, not to support, to discourage. Vision so passionate, it's disturbing. Creative rise, I was positive surgeon. Cosmic post, the emergence. Reign of eternal, hands on my time. Impossible prince can God, watch you step in the mind. Some triggers, power, holy divine righteousness. Combined with courage, love of essence. Don't let trauma bind and block your blessings. When you behind the veil, you hear the confession. Give you limitation, corruption, fear, deception. This the age of knowing, evolution and resurrection. Don't get boxed in the agenda of the oppressor. Create a living with purpose, the focus, the
You did the
All right.
Because of my imperfection.
You did the
Hate
production
you
track?
turn it into intelligence. Let's
Huh?
go.
You made the track
No
the
better
third
day.
song?
Weaponized thoughts.
Oh yeah, it's a full song, bro. This a full song.
What?
You a bad
Yeah.
man, bro. You a bad man.
Huh?
That man has
Man,
that man has many gifts. He makes jewelry, he raps, he does poems. Man has knowledge and wisdom on freaking. I mean, you
Hey,
a
man,
scholar, bro. You a
go on.
scholar. You a scholar.
Hey
bro.
man, listen.
Hey,
We taking that thing to the
don't
next
worry,
level,
we'll
bro.
get some of my fiat.
Hey, listen. We taking it to the next level, man. Self-love is the greatest power you can ever have. You know what I'm saying? Self-power. So it's so much gratitude, man, of everybody on this panel. Like I said today, it's just been a real honor. You know, me and Big Walt got our big, solar return on the 16th coming up around the corner Thursday. You know what I'm saying? I'll be hitting the big 5-0 for myself. So, in my reflections, it was, man, listen, my brother like no other. You know what I'm talking about? Since I met this dude, man, we've been vibing on levels, just like I met Jamal. When we opened our mouth and started talking, man, it was one level. I met Rio on the podcast where it was connected predominantly. So you know what I'm saying? Like everybody on this panel, we're connected by one person, and one person connect all of us. So that's a beautiful that power of love, man. That's a beautiful the power of love and great minds and great energy. You know what I mean? If it wasn't real, man, we would all know it because it'd be fake as shit. We would know it.
Exactly. You ain't got time for that. Don't got time for that. Ain't got time for that, bro.
Nah. So with that right there, man, I'm gonna say thank y'all for another episode, another great, powerful impact, another episode of Talk That Crap.
Line of haters observe, but not to support, to discourage. Vision so passionate.